Hello, book besties. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Delaney if you are new here, and we are here with my May monthly wrap up. We're going to be talking about these 16 books that I read in the month of May. May was a jam-packed reading month. I feel like the sun came out and all I wanted to do was read or listen to audiobooks, so we flew through a lot of books, a lot of new releases, a lot of really great books, and I'm excited to talk about them with you guys. I will say a lot of these were in vlogs or will be in upcoming reading vlogs, so in-depth thoughts you have either seen or are to come in reading vlogs, but I do want to recap. I love monthly recaps. I love watching them. I like filming them. So we're going to go through all the books here. I'm going to give you my ratings, my thoughts, my reviews, all that jazz, and yeah, there's a ton to talk about, so let's just jump right in. I started off the month with The Love Haters, which was in a reading vlog, and I sadly was very disappointed by this one. I love Catherine Center so much, and I was really let down by the way that she talked about mental health and body image and eating disorders. It really was written in a way that I found to be very irresponsible as someone who has had an eating disorder and is a eating disorder recovery coach. I work with that population very closely day in and day out, and the way that this was written was just incredibly triggering. It was irresponsible and just I hated it. I hated it. There was like calorie counts and it was really disappointing to read because I know Catherine Center was not intended to be malicious at all, but the way that it came across just was not well done. Also, the romance elements, I really liked our mailman character. He is a Coast Guard rescue swimmer and he was great. I didn't love the female main character and I didn't see them together. And even more so, I feel like the circumstances just got progressively more and more crazy and outlandish as we went on, that the romance became unbelievable, if that makes sense. I ended up giving this a 2.5 star just because of like the lack of connection and relatability. Like the things that were happening felt so like they would never happen in real life, and it pulled me out of the romance a little bit. As I read a lot more of Catherine Center's newest stuff, I think I'm learning that I'm a fan of her women's fiction with romance subplot a lot more than I'm a fan of her like just standard rom-coms. Like I really like How to Walk Away, Things You Save in a Fire, like her OG books that are really written more as like women's fiction I love, but the rom-coms are just a little too fluffy and a little too out there for me. Then another new release that was in that same reading vlog, I read Fearless by Lauren Roberts, and this was okay. It felt very repetitive a little bit, like repetitive in this book itself, kind of felt like we were going in circles, and then also felt very reminiscent of Powerless. I can't say much about this book since it is the third book in a trilogy. I don't want to like give any of the plot because that would spoil things, of course. But I liked that the romance was the forefront. I liked that it was very romance heavy, but I felt like Kai in particular kind of just went in circles. Every time it was his point of view, he was whining about the same thing over and over again. And I just got bored of his complaining, and the plot felt like it was kind of going nowhere at times. So I give this a 3 star. It was fine. It was a fine conclusion to the trilogy, but definitely Powerless was like the shining star of the series. And then from there on, it just kind of lost me. Then I read Butcher and Blackbird, and this will be in an upcoming reading vlog, and I think my review for this was that this was cute in the most repulsive and disgusting way possible, and that just about sums it up. It was fine. I give this a 3 star as well. I don't think I'll be continuing the series. I just don't think it's for me. A dark rom-com was just weird. It felt weird. I have no better word for it. It almost felt like a fantasy book. I think I said that in the vlog. It felt almost like I was reading magical realism, where like some dark romances feel real. They're just dark and gory and disgusting. This one felt not real at all. It felt like I was reading kind of something whimsical. I don't know. That said, I am glad I read it. I am glad I know what all the hype's about. I am glad I know the cookies and cream reference now, which is absolutely disgusting, but I don't think I'll be continuing it. Then I read The Soulmate by Sally Hepworth, and prior to this I had only read Darling Girls by her, so I had no real expectation going into this. It was good for a thriller. I gave it a 3 star as well, I believe, and this is kind of just like the standard house on a cliff trope in a thriller. It was twisted and kind of like a trust no one, like you don't really know who the protagonist is because like everyone feels unreliable. Everyone feels like they're not trustworthy, and it kept me on the edge of my seat. It was entertaining the whole way through. I flew through it. Not anything super memorable, not like a life-changing, groundbreaking book, but it was a good time. So 3 stars. And I read Done and Dusted, and I gave this a 3.5 star. This is just a fun, flirty, spicy cowboy romance. I didn't love the spice style. I'm hoping it like gets a little better as the books progress. I've never read a Lila Sage before, so maybe her spice style is just not one that I love. I also was coming off of Elsie Silver and like just feeling so in the world of Elsie Silver, and there's no comparison. So my bad for even like expecting that. That like is an unrealistic expectation for anybody else. So I did really enjoy it though. I thought it was cute. It was fluffy. This is another one that I feel like I already kind of forgot the plot line and already forgot the storyline, but while I was reading it, it was really enjoyable. I have plans to continue this series. I will be reading the next, I think there's 3 books out after this one, hopefully over the summer. I want to just like binge the whole series this summer because cowboy romance during the summertime just is like a perfect fit to me. I don't know why, they just go hand in hand. So I will be continuing the series. I thought it was really fun, really easy to read, and just like a perfect quick romance. Then I have One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune, and this follows Charlie from Every Summer After. So if you've read Every Summer After, this is his book, and they're like interconnected, but you could read them as standalones, you know? I would confidently say that One Golden Summer and Every Summer After are Carly Fortune's best work. I read Every Summer After when I first got into reading as an adult again, and I loved it. I almost gave it 5 stars. I hated the conflict in it, but I almost gave it a 5-star. I really adored that book, and the conflict that I hated so much feels like it gets a little bit more of a resolution in this book. Like, she talks about it. She addresses the conflict, the elephant in the room, and this was really fun. I feel like Carly Fortune just does a phenomenal job of like the atmospheric summer vibes. Like, if you want a book that just screams summer and like sunshiny, vacation, beachy energy, Carly Fortune, and this book does all of that and more. This is a somewhat of a second chance romance, but really just like a sweet beach summery romance, and I love seeing Charlie again. I really loved him in Every Summer After, so I'm glad he kind of got like his redemption book and his own love story. I gave this a 4-star. I don't remember if I told you that or not, but 4-star for this one. Then I read Ready or Not by Cara Bastone, I think is how you say her last name, and she is a new auto-buy author for me. After reading Promise Me Sunshine and then reading this one, I love her writing style and I love her female main characters. Like, I want to be best friends with all of them. This is a accidental pregnancy trope, and I normally hate that trope, but I loved it in this book, and it was done differently. I feel like the love interest just wasn't the like textbook accidental pregnancy trope. I don't know. If you know, you know. And it was so sweet. It was such a beautiful story. I gave this a 4-star. I really, really enjoyed it. It was really well done, and her writing is just so fun. And her female main character just like had me laughing out loud. She was hilarious and so relatable. Then I read I Hope You Remember by Josie Balka, and if you think you don't know Josie Balka, I need you to go search her on Instagram or TikTok because I guarantee you do know her. She is like the poet of this social media generation. She's phenomenal, like incredible. I cried reading this book. I love poetry so much, and she is just absolutely incredible at what she does. Like, such beautiful writing. I don't rate poetry, memoirs, nonfiction, anything like that, so no star rating, but beautiful. You absolutely should read this. I will be rereading this multiple times. It was incredible. Then I read The Handmaid's Tale for my personal book club, and I gave this a 3-star. I was a little bored reading this, which I didn't expect because of the content in this book. And I think I determined that the issue is I knew too much of the plot going in from the TV show. I've never watched the full TV show, but I've watched the first few episodes and like talked about the TV show, and I know the premise. So I think I knew too much going in, that seeing it written like spread out through one whole book, it felt like the pacing was so slow because I'm used to like the faster pace in the TV show, and I was bored. I was just bored. It felt like so much was happening and nothing at all was happening all at once. So 3 stars for this one. It was fine, but I was a little bit bored. I feel like the TV show honestly did a better job. Then, while I was on my little banned book kick, I read 19 Minutes. This was actually my Patreon book club's book of the month, and we just had our live meeting talking about this book, and there was such amazing conversation to be had around this. This is a heavy, heavy book. It was very emotional. One of the only books that I've had to like take breaks and pauses while I was reading because it was so heavy and so emotional, and it was like getting to me. So definitely know that if you're going to read it, like trigger warning, check content warning, only read it if you're in a place to read it. But man, Jodi Picoult she goes there. She just goes there and has the hard conversations and talks about the topics, and wow, one of the most thought-provoking books that I think I've ever read. It was a 4-star for me. Very hard to rate because it was so gut-wrenching and devastating and traumatic, but also like really well done. So 4-star. Rewind it back, baby. Rewind it back. I wish I could rewind it back and reread this book for the first time because it was incredible. 5-star. It is like my token 5-star of the month. I adore this book. I adore the series. I missed them already. I will be rereading the Windy City series. Mark my words. Hold me to it. Hound me about it. I missed them already. And the way that this wrapped up, like the last pages of this book, tears. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. You'll also see this in the upcoming vlog. And it's just me ranting about how much I love it. Look at those tabs. I loved it. I did love it. Talking too much. Then I read Things We Leave Unfinished, and please don't be mad at me, but I gave this a 3-star. I didn't like this. I was so bored. I was so bored. The ending was good. The ending was good, but the first 70, 75, 80% of this book, I wanted to DNF it. It was boring. I'm sorry. And everyone recommended this book to me, and I just don't understand why. The Last Letter is really the only book I've really loved by Rebecca Yarros, and I'm sorry. I know everyone says it's a 5-star read, and I didn't see it. Admittedly, I went in with very high expectations because everyone has told me it's a 5-star read for them, but there was like nothing. It gave me nothing. I don't know. However, what I did love is Before I Let Go. This was incredible. I cannot wait to continue the series. It is on my TBR for next month. I need to get my hands on the 3rd book because, man, this was good. The romance was beautiful. The female main character was so raw and vulnerable and emotional. The way depression and mental health was talked about, and grief. And Kennedy Ryan, you did a phenomenal job. Like, incredible book. I regret not reading this sooner. I regret putting it off for so long because it was so good. I gave it a 4-star. I kind of want to bump it up. I'm like sitting on it. I just finished this not that long ago, and I kind of want to bump it up. We'll see. It was really, really great. You should definitely read it. This is like a divorce second chance book, and I normally don't relate to like the older marriage romances. Like they have kids together, they have a business together, and I'm just not in that phase of life, so I normally don't gravitate towards those types of books. But I gave it a fair shot, and it did not disappoint. You have to read it. And I read Same Time Next Summer, and I am waiting for my pre-order of her new book to come to me. It has come out, like it's past release day, and I'm still waiting for my order to be delivered. So I was like, I need an Annabelle Monaghan. And I wanted to read this last summer, but I waited too long, and then it was like September, and I was like, vibes aren't vibing. So I waited until this spring, summertime, and I was like, feels like a good time to pick it up. I read this in one day. It was so fast, and it was very cute. I gave it a 3.5 star. It is a very cute second chance, summery, beachy romance. Lots of wit, lots of banter. There's like emotion, nothing super memorable, but very, very cute for the summertime. I would definitely recommend. Then on my Kindle, I read The Tenant by Freida McFadden, and this is every Freida McFadden book you've ever read, rewritten in a different format, different names, different setting, and slightly different premise, and the exact same book all over again. Not to say it wasn't enjoyable. Not to say it wasn't enjoyable. I gave it a 3-star because it just felt like everything I've ever read by her before, but it definitely was better than The Crash, so she deserves some credit for that. There was no baby tuna, little tuna, whatever it was. It was fine. It just is like, yeah, that was a Freida. You could give me that book with no context, just like the content of the book, and within the first chapter I'd be like, this is a Freida McFadden book. You know what I'm talking about. If you're an avid Freida reader, you know what I'm talking about. Lastly, I read Wedding Issues, and I hate to end this on a bad note, but I gave it a 2.5 star. I went into this expecting like a wedding setting romance, and maybe that's my bad. Maybe I should have dug a little bit deeper, but this was just women, like a large amount of grown women acting like petty, catty 12-year-olds, bullying each other, being mean to each other, sabotaging each other. I just didn't like it, and the messaging was trying to be pro-woman, and I liked what it was trying to do, but it missed the mark for me. I wanted more romance, and I didn't like our female main character. I didn't like any of the women in this book, and I hated the way that they were like battling against each other rather than being on the same team. I don't know. I didn't really enjoy it. It was boring. It felt immature and catty and just soap opera-y kind of. Maybe if you go in with that expectation and you want something just dramatic, you're not looking for like a sweet romance, you want something that feels like a soap opera, maybe you'd love it, but for me personally, missed the mark. 2.5 star. All right, you guys, those are the 16 books that I read in the month of May. Leave a comment down below telling me your favorite book that you've read from May and what you're most looking forward to reading in June. And while you're down there, make sure you are following me on all the things. I'm very active on TikTok and Instagram, and my book club and my Patreon is also down there. You can join and read with us next month. We're reading a thriller, which will be a lot of fun. And also make sure you're subscribed here. There's a lot of upcoming vlogs that are pre-filmed, including some of these books. So if you want more in-depth thoughts, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss those future videos when they come out. But that is all for today's video. Thank you for being here. I love you, and I hope you had a fabulous month of reading. I will talk to you in the next one. Bye, book besties.